Welcome back to another edition of my podcast. And if you've been following along, we were at PFIC. It was a pretty interesting conference where I sat down and I talked to a bunch of different people. This should be part 2 in that series. And one of the speakers there was Greg Kipper, who is a futurist and technologist. And I'll just let him explain what he does. Here is that interview. So we're at PFIC 2017, and you just got finished speaking just a little while ago. Kind of let everyone know what your topic were. First, I guess, what's your name?
Name is Greg Kipper.
Greg. Obviously, Greg and I have known each other for a while now. But so what was your topic that you talked about here?
It's trends in emerging technologies, primarily in information technology, and in some cases how it relates to forensics. But mine was more of a broader, here's what is coming in the next couple of decades, and here's some of the changes and social, economic, and even technical implications of those changes.
Right. Now, your presentation scared me a little bit, and I'll explain why. And specifically what I'm talking about is the nano we were talking about in the bloodstream that can produce...
The respiricides, yeah.
Yeah, that's the name that you used. What you see, say, this technology actually will evolve at some point, I have no doubt.
Yes.
That it will happen. How do you determine failure, or if an exam of some type has to occur? I know I'm going to kind of twist this on you a little bit.
No, it's all right. I think I know where you're going with this.
How do we determine what happened if something fails with a technology like that? Obviously, that's not something the average examiner is going to be able to handle. It's going to be very specialized.
Right.
But how do you see that?
And in the medical community, there's a great concern about excessive nanotechnology incorporating, particularly with areas of the brain, because it's so sophisticated that it's the only organ we have that we don't, well, not even organ, it's the only thing that we don't even fully understand how it works.
Right.
It's ours, and we still don't fully know how our own brain works. So tinkering with that, for lack of a better term, with nanotechnology can have some very dangerous and quickly fatal effects.
Right.
So I anticipate nanotechnology, at least from a medical standpoint and on an individual person basis, to start out to be very benign. As I described with the respiricide, it doesn't require additional power. It doesn't, it's not active. It's not affecting cells. It's merely processing something, and it's already part of your body. And if you look at the model of, say, a dental filling or a contact lens, we're already inserting technologies into our bodies. This is just on a smaller scale for an approved benefit.
Sure.
So nanotech will, from the medical side, will begin where the heat of our bodies or the pumping of our blood will take care of some of that, and it will do very benign functions, and then we'll see if there's allergic reactions or effects and everything like that, and it will evolve from there. So
that's amazing. Absolutely scares the crap out of me, but it's amazing. So kind of putting the spin more focused on the cyber/digital forensics world, where do you see the biggest challenges? Where do you see the industry moving and going to with the ability to collect? Because we used to focus on the device level itself, and now obviously it's much more than that. So how do you see that evolution?
Well, it's evolved obviously from the device to the network to now it's multiple places on the network and often transitory. As a result of that, it's in multiple places or it's deleted from multiple places at the same time, kind of the ecosystem model. The challenges with forensics are, one, going to be sustaining the volumes, and I spoke about the smart machine model, where people and machines will work together,
right,
in a very coordinated way, and I envision essentially a forensic smart machine where you interact with an agent that says, you need to start looking for this and you need to start doing that. And while you're thinking about the actual answer to the question, I'm going to be automating and running all of these back-end processes, carving up this data, restoring these deleted data, categorizing these images, everything that you might need that you're not going to have time to do manually, I'll take care of. That's what the computers are really good at, and then we go, okay, here's why it makes sense to our investigation. I see that continuing to evolve, and I also see it becoming a lot more automatic. We are entering that era of automation, whether we like it or not. It's being pushed on us because
Right.
of the desire for increased profits and reduced overhead, everything like that, and that has additional challenges. But from forensics per standpoint, it's going to be the generalist that knows how to imagine and think through the right questions and then wield the tools the right way. But the tools will do a large part of the heavy lifting, whereas in the past we were manually doing a lot of those processes.
Right. Are you seeing, obviously, with that, a lot of AI incorporation and machine learning
Yes.
coming together with that? Now, there's been, and I'm going to bring your opinion in on this.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of controversy over this, with good
Yes.
reason, I think. You have the Elon Musks of the world. You have all of these people on either side of the platform saying why it is or isn't a good thing. Kind of the concerns with that is, are we going to lose control over the machines, or at what level do we need to cut that off when it comes to something in the process that we're doing?
Right, and it is a very valid question and a valid concern. I tend to agree with Elon Musk's approach that if it's allowed to go unchecked, or if it grows to a point where even we can't shut it off,
Right.
that it will fundamentally affect us, perhaps to the point of extinction. And that's all the doomsday stuff that has been popularized in science fiction movies and novels since artificial intelligence was thought of. However, at the same time, we can also take the converse look of, let's look at our modern infrastructure and go, if we were to remove it right now, what would happen to us? In many ways, we're already terribly dependent on it because
Right.
we've allowed it to integrate. The trend in the last decade, it's people are now, I would much rather leave my car keys and my wallet at home than lose my phone.
That's true.
And so, but that says something.
Right.
It says something significant about, here's what we're doing day in and day out. Here's now what is considered critical infrastructure for the individual. And it's, the ability to have electronic commerce, communication, and data. And a car is kind of incidental.
Yeah.
And that's only going to grow even more so as automation comes out. But to get back to your point on AI, the positive side of it is that everybody is watching for that exact problem. We're always going to have bad actors. We're always going to have those that just want to see the world burn. And
Right.
we're going to have to deal with that. And that will be a weapon that they can wield against us. The question is, okay, can we constrain it to be usable, and yet at the same time not be overly dangerous? And I talked about the term restricted intelligence, where it does very sophisticated things, but it's not off going, I don't like humans, they really need to go away. I'm just going to perform this function that is 1,000 steps, that's dynamically changing really, really well for their benefit, but I'm not thinking about, okay, world domination. And I think that's where the line will really be drawn, is that we will continue to have advanced, hopefully restricted intelligences, and then the good sense or the ability to regulate or contain, we don't know yet, because
Right.
we haven't gotten there yet. We'll know once true AI exists, but even the agreement on what that is hasn't fully been agreed upon. So it's a worthy thing to be thinking about, and I know that will that concern will never go away. So time will tell.
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you very
You're
much
very
for your
welcome.
time. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Anytime.
Thanks. Great.